All right, now what I want to do is show you how to start adding instruments and editing them if you need to, setting up commission schedules or whatever. So here, you see I've already added a number of different instruments here. By default, you typically have the ES, the NQ, maybe the TF or the ZB, and potentially the YM or something like that. But you don't have this many contracts already loaded. All right, you can see that you have your instrument name, type, description, tick size, point value here, and up at the top you have several different lists. Now these are stock lists for the Dow 30. Forex is all of your Forex markets that are available here in Ninja, and then your NASDAQ 100, all of those companies that make up the NASDAQ 100. RSS would be whatever you may add here for news feeds or whatever, and then your S&P 500 with your 500 large cap stocks in the United States here. Okay, but what we're mostly interested in is futures. So you can create your own new list, or you can simply add to the default list. And if you add to the default list, then you'll be able to select from this list on each individual chart. If you create your own new list, you may not necessarily be able to access that from the chart. I'll have to double check that, but I believe the charts are linked to the default list. So what you want to do is, whichever instruments you're interested in loading onto the different charts, you simply select it and then arrow left to load it. So you see here I have an old contract. Today is January 17th, 2017. So this is the previous month's contract. I don't need that contract loaded here in the list to be able to access the data for that time period. So if I want to clean up the list, I need to remove these old contracts. We're currently on the 0217 for crude oil, and the 0317 for the ES, the YM, the NQ, the ZB. For soybeans, ZS, I want to say we're on the 3. Yeah, we're on the 3. Okay, for wheat, probably on the 3 as well. Yes, we are. ZB is 317 as well. Yep. So I'm just simply going to clean this up and get rid of some of the old contracts. And if it's already in the list, then you get this warning message. That'll show up in the log as well. There's a warning message. FGBL, I want to say that is a German Bund, I think. I'm not sure. FDAX is a German market. Now, you notice these pound, pound, dash, pound, pound contracts. These are the continuous contracts. Okay. So if I want to load the continuous contract, what do I not have the continuous contract of? I don't have the continuous contract of soybeans, for instance. So I'll type in the name here, which is ZS. Okay. I could type in soybeans over here, and it would show me this one. See, I've already got the 0317 for soybeans. So what I want to do is I want to load a continuous contract, which is going to merge all of those previous contracts together from the data feed without having to do it natively here on my instance of NinjaTrader. So I select pound, pound, dash, pound, pound, and then arrow left. And that will add it now to the instrument list. I don't then go and click on cancel because that will totally undo everything that I've just done. I simply go to OK, and now that list will populate correctly from the charts or from wherever I access it. Now what we want to do is go back and open the instrument manager again, and I want to show you how to edit one of these instruments here. So for instance, for the 6E, we typically trade the 6E, the ES, and the CL. If I want to edit the 6E here and go in and change the commission schedule, I click on the instrument. I make sure the instrument is selected, the 6E, and then click on Edit right here. You see? Oftentimes, I'll log on to people's computers, and they'll have this session template set by default to a default 24/7, and that is incorrect. That's going to show up with errors in the relative volume, the relative density, and all of that. So you don't want that set to default 24/7 or 24/5 or whatever people do. If it is set up like that and you just want to do a clean sweep of that and fix everything, go to Tools, Options, Data, and reset your instruments. And then all of your instruments will go back to the original factory default settings. So if you see from editing, or if you see those errors where the relative volume says, will not load with this session template, need to load a proper session template or something like that, then you can just reset all of your instruments or go and edit that instrument that the error is being thrown on, edit it, and see which session template is here. Obviously, the session template for the euro currencies or any of the currencies, Forex futures, will be the CME FX futures ETH. The ETH is the extended trading hours or the electronic trading hours, which is typically 23 hours and 15 minutes for most of your markets. Or well, no, it will be ETH for all of these markets because those are the extended hours, the electronically traded hours. You wouldn't want to set the default instrument session template to anything other than an ETH template so that you could get access to all of the data for the full amount of time that it's open per day, which is typically right at or over 23 hours per day. Now, I'm not going to get into that in this video, but there are other videos on setting up the rollover date. Oftentimes with a lot of these retail platforms, the contracts will roll over. Well, this is true of any platform. I shouldn't say specific to retail trading platforms, but the contracts will roll over before the actual volume has shifted from the current contract to the next, front-running contract. So oftentimes it will roll over here 1 day early or 2 days early, and then that will start to skew the relative volume and density, which is really the backbone of our confirmation, for initiating the trade. We define our areas, and then to confirm those areas, we use the relative volume and density. And if the contract is merged, if you're rolling over too soon before the volume has shifted to that next contract, then it can be an issue. So there's a separate video showing you how to change the dates here. So you'll want to check that out if you're interested in doing that. But what else? If you want to set up your commission schedule for this contract, well, then you find your data feed and set it out here. So for Kinetic, I think I'm 153, and I'll go ahead and set that for Continuum as well. And I think it's the Continuum that matters because that's the one that I'm actually routing the orders through. But I'll set it up for both of them since I'm connected to both of them at the same time for every order. And that's going to be for every side. Is it 153 for a round turn? I think it's 153 per side. So we set that there and then click OK. And now we can then do that for every other contract. So for instance, we also trade the ES. Add that, search, select ES, edit, miscellaneous, Continuum, which is where my orders are routed through, and then Kinetic. I just use this for the actual data to populate the charts. Okay, what else? CL, search, select the instrument, edit, miscellaneous. Obviously, if I'm going too fast, you can pause the video or rewind, and then Kinetic. So these are all things that we should all know about NinjaTrader. Just want to ensure that everybody's on the same page. Okay, so let's do one more just to make it kind of, you know, repetition. So miscellaneous, continuum, which is my order, routing, and kinetic that I'm using for data. And then be sure and click OK here, otherwise it undoes everything that you've just done. As far as editing, it may not undo the editing, but it will undo whatever you've added to this list if you click cancel. You need to click OK. All right,